Welcome to Cold Creek. My name is Sharon and I'm here today to talk to you about camellias, also known or nicknamed as the winter rose. I have customers come in all the time and they go, I want something to bloom in the spring. I want something to bloom all summer. Well, there's no reason you can't have something blooming all 4 seasons. So now is the perfect time to plant a camellia. In the fall, it has plenty of time to root in and have some growth, and then come out in the spring and look beautiful. So I'm going to talk about, we grow mainly 2 varieties, which is Camellia japonica and Camellia cesanquas. Camellia japonicas are known for their big glossy leaves. They're a lot larger than the cesanqua variety. They also have twice the size blooms. This is one of my favorites here. And you have all different blooms. They come in a single, peonies, anemones, formal, double formal. There's a huge variety. I believe there's about 250 different species, and they have about 3,000 different hybrids even between the 2. This particular one, when you plant a japonica, is going to want to be in shade, part sun, but only morning sun. So it goes perfect with azaleas that are going to be finishing up blooming. Japonicas normally bloom, they're more your winter bloomer, normally somewhere between December even into April. So you can have flowers during all that season. It makes a beautiful, glossy, evergreen backdrop. A lot of people don't think about having something like that in their garden. You can plant it as a specimen tree. You can let it stay. We have different sizes. Some are short, some are medium, some are tall. And this one here, as you can see, has a unique variegation to the leaf, which makes it stand out in your garden. So that is our japonica varieties, which will take more shade, very hardy, very tough plant. So this is the Camellia cesanqua. Nice, still shiny, evergreen plant. The leaves are about half the size of japonica, and the flowers are about half the size of the japonica. But the amount of flowers that you get off of cesanqua are 2 to 3 times more than the japonica variety. What's neat about a cesanqua is you can take this one and you can make it in a hedge. A lot of people don't think about using this plant as a hedge, but this plant shears well, prunes well. You can plant it in a row. These typically bloom in the fall. So they are blooming now, as you can see, and there are a lot of different varieties, different colors, and we also have a series called October Magic, which is 5 different colors and 5 different sizes, so which it makes it really nice. There's one October Ruby, which is a beautiful ruby, and it's actually a rose form, and it only gets about 3 feet. So that makes a nice addition to the front of your garden. So all of these can be used together and have masses of color all through fall, winter, into spring. Also, another way that you can grow cesanquas, which do very well, is called espalier. So you can trellis these. You can actually grow them against a brick wall, and they will do perfect doing that. You just have to prune them correctly, and they will give you, as you can see, all the buds all over this one particular. This is a Camellia hybrid, and there are about 3,000 varieties where these have been crossed between the cesanquas and the japonicas, and they tend to grow a little bit larger. The leaves are somewhere in between the 2, so but they still have that nice glossy look, still require about the same sun, anywhere up to 4 to 6 hours of sun a day, and they do bloom more profusely than the japonicas. Okay, this is the one last variety that we carry here at Cold Creek, and this is Camellia sinensis. A lot of y'all may not know what that is. The number one beverage in America is water. The number 2 comes from this plant, which is tea. This is called the tea camellia. They actually harvest these. They keep them very short. They only let them grow about 6 to 12 inches because the tea has to be grown. The leaves have to all be new growth. But this also makes an excellent shrub in your garden. It does have a small white flower which blooms now and does make a beautiful shrub. But if you want to plant, a lot of people like to say, I want to have plants that I can eat or drink, and this one you can drink. The first thing you need to know whenever you're planting a camellia, the japonicas, cesanquas, the hybrids, any of those, the very first thing I want you to know is that you're going to plant this plant about 1 inch to 1.5 inches above the soil level. These plants like to be high and well drained. So when you plant these, you're going to dig your hole twice the size of the plant. You're going to mix in some topsoil. You can use some chicken manure. These plants are acid-loving plants, so our soil here is perfect for that. You do not want to mix in black how. You don't want to mix in anything that's going to make your soil more alkaline because it's not going to like it. Also, they are heavy feeders, and this is one of my favorites. It's called azalea tone, but if you look at the bag, it will tell you better blooms and foliage, and this is ideal for your azaleas, your camellias, rhododendrons. Any of those are going to love this. So you're going to fertilize with that about every 8 weeks during the growing season. These are evergreen, so they do require fertilizer, especially in the winter, in the fall and winter, because that's when they're putting on their show and producing all of their flowers for your garden. When you go to prune your camellias, the japonicas, when you prune those, you do not want to do any heavy pruning on those. You prune them after they have bloomed, and June 15th is your cutoff date. That's when they set their buds during the summer. So you want to leave them alone after that. Any hard pruning on the Camellia japonicas are going to cause you to have a more woody plant and not near as attractive. Cesanquas, on the other hand, are a little bit different. They can actually be sheared because you can grow them as a hedge. You don't have to hand prune them, so they can take some heavy pruning if you want to keep them a certain height. Still the same cutoff date. So now that you have all this information on the camellias, come down to the garden center. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about it and give you all the information you need so you can have flowers all 4 seasons of the year.